Hey guys, Mr. McKinney here, just picking up our lesson on Riemann sums. So we went over the basics on how to find Riemann sums. Now we're going to look at whether a Riemann sum is an over or an underestimate. And we're going to look at a lot of different cases. So let's consider that we have a concave up and increasing curve. Keep in mind that concave up looks like a cup. If it's increasing, I want this piece of a concave up curve. So a concave up increasing curve. Now we've got a concave up increasing curve drawn 3 different times. Once with a right Riemann sum, once with a left Riemann sum, and once with a trapezoid sum. Now if we look at a right Riemann sum, so if I use the point on the right side to draw rectangles, which is what we've done here. Each of these rectangles is going to be bigger than the curve or the area underneath the curve as long as it's increasing. So when I'm looking at a right Riemann sum, if it's increasing, we are going to have an overestimate. If I have a left Riemann sum, when it's increasing, I'm drawing the arrows from the rectangles from the left side each time. So this is going to be an underestimate because each of these rectangles is underneath the curve. For a trapezoid, it's not whether it's increasing or decreasing. I want to look at whether it's concave up or concave down. So in this case, it's a concave up curve. So if I connect the points to make a trapezoid, now my first trapezoid ends up being a triangle because this base is 0. My second trapezoid, it's a little bit easier to see. And since my curve is concave up, a trapezoid ends up capturing more area. So this would be an overestimate. Now if we look at a concave down and decreasing curve, the answers are going to be different. So for a right sum, if we're decreasing, all these rectangles are going to end up being below the actual curve or less area. So this would be an underestimate. This one, a left sum on a decreasing curve, would be an overestimate. And then again, if we look at our trapezoids, so here's a trapezoid, here's another trapezoid. Both of these trapezoids capture less area. And again, it's not whether it's increasing or decreasing for the trapezoid sum, it's whether it's concave up or concave down. So in this case, it's concave down. So each trapezoid would capture less area, so this would be an underestimate. Now, I don't recommend that you memorize these rules, or really these rules. Like these are the rules. If it's a left sum on an increasing function, it's an underestimate. So you could try to memorize these 6 different rules, but that's a waste of brain space. For a left or a right sum, you just need to know whether it's increasing or decreasing. And just draw a very basic graph. So here is an increasing function. A linear function is a very easy increasing function. So if I'm doing a left sum, I'm drawing rectangles from the left side. And I can see that each of these rectangles is going to be below the curve. So if it's increasing and I do a left sum, it's an underestimate. But don't memorize these rules, just draw yourself a quick picture. So for a left sum or a right sum, you just need to know whether it's increasing or decreasing. And you can just draw a straight line increasing or decreasing. For a trapezoid sum, you need to know whether it's concave up or concave down. And again, instead of memorizing it, I would just draw a curve that's either concave up or concave down. Let's do a concave down curve. So a concave down curve, at any point, if I connect it and draw trapezoids, each of these trapezoids is going to be underneath the curve. So we're going to have an underestimate. Again, don't memorize these rules. Just draw a quick picture and then either draw rectangles coming from the left or rectangles coming from the right or trapezoids, and you'll be able to figure it out. You're not able to make a conclusion based on a midpoint sum. And this is a very common question to see on the free response portion of the AP exam. It'll be a piece of a question where it'll tell you either you have an increasing or a decreasing function, and it'll ask you if a left sum over or underestimates it. Something like that, and we'll look at that in the next.